the intrinsic nature of socialism would be, say, the government giving you stuff, like pseudo ownership of things. But I think with this Great Reset plan, we're leading more towards where they're not even going to be giving us anything. It's just going to be us renting from all of these big corporations. So what even is that? Could we qualify that as socialism? Like, they're not giving us assets. They're not giving us money that's our own. It's just a cycle of us renting basically everything that we want to be indulging in.
Modern serfdom.
Yeah. I guess, like in Russia.
Yeah, or even just medieval Europe. Think about medieval Europe, where you didn't own the land that you lived on, but if you were lucky, you could live on the land that you farmed the crops for. You know, your income was really kind of like being able to be, like, you weren't a slave really, because you weren't a slave, but you were kind of in a indentured servitism sort of situation where you're kind of, yeah, you're living and you're getting food and all that, but it's like a class system. You don't have any real equity in anything, and therefore you don't have any like autonomy. I think that something that I didn't realize, which I totally fell into a trap about this, but the reason why like YouTube, Instagram like promotes things like, oh, living in your van.
I thought about this today.
The reason why they promote that stuff with their algorithms, it's not just like to encourage you to be a minimalist and like enjoy nature. It's literally strategic because they want you to not have a lot of things, which, I mean, if you think about that in a biblical sense, like that is great. Like we should all be wanting to not have as many things. We should be wanting to give to the poor. We should be wanting to not live excessive lifestyles. But I don't think that,
but not having the freedom to do it is suppressive, and that's where we will create chaos in society. And this is just human nature. Like, we want the freedom to be able to do things, to own things, to make decisions without someone else having to make them for us. So yes, in theory, we should be wanting to live more impoverished lifestyles. And honestly, that's probably what most people are fine with doing and want to do as is. But when it's forced upon you, that's where chaos can still, sneak out and grow into more.
Well, it's not even that. It's also, okay, so if that happens, you don't think that there's still going to be greedy people at the top that then will just take over everything, and then you still won't have autonomy? Like, okay, if BlackRock literally takes up all of the land in the US, you think you're going to be able to just take your camper freely across state line to state line and be able to park it wherever? Like, no, you aren't going to be able to do that. So I think that, yeah, in theory, that is a great mindset to have. And I think that we should be always striving to do more with less. But it's like, okay, also God and Jesus, he wanted us to use the resources that he gave us, not in excess, but to nourish us, to use the farmland to grow crops, to feed us and all this stuff. And you think that you're not going to have any land to be able to do that. Like, you're going to have to get your COVID pill every morning from the pharmaceutical companies and get your package delivered meal from the whatever version of Postmates gets shipped off into your little tube. And it's not going to be nourished, wholesome food. So I think that we think like, oh, we'll be minimalistic, but eventually someone's going to come in and grab all of that, like all those resources, and then it's not going to get distributed properly,